ask you a
It'll
question.
be a wonderful
You got
aroma.
Julie,
Huh?
I asked you a question, and about that time you knocked your cup over. I don't know where I caused it or not.
What
It's
question
Bill's
did you
fault.
ask me?
It's my fault.
Bill's fault.
All right.
Dr. Guerrant will not be here today. He called me last night. He
Who
said
will
something
not?
else popped up.
He won't be here?
No, he gave me something that I could read. Of course, yeah.
Okay.
But I'd rather have him here.
We'll get him back here next time.
Okay, I'll see if I can get him on in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Who are you talking about? Dr. Grant.
Dr. Guerrant.
Dr. Grant. No. They're there for a reason. It's universal pickup this way. They're not just sitting there. It picks all of us up that way.
Not good.
All right, so.
That could be a mistake.
We're short of.
We'll go ahead. I didn't bring my little gavel in.
Short end of
You're
term.
a mess today.
We're,
Good, why did you have your?
I didn't have my gavel.
Bill, what did you ask me?
Good, come on.
Bill, what did you ask me?
I asked you about your trip, did you have a good trip?
Yes, I
Did the
did.
pups live that trip?
What?
Did both of your little dogs live?
Yes.
You ever see the Griswolds?
Oh, yes, that's what I thought about.
We ran out of gas on the
I
first
heard
day.
about that. I heard about that.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Call this regular scheduled session of this court into order on September 28th, 2021. And we'll start today with our invocation by Minister John Caywood.
May we come together in prayer. Our Holy Father, we pray that we not only come together in prayer, but that we come together in life as a nation. You have challenged us in so many ways in life. May we always find a way to love and respect one another as you do us. We thank you for our many freedoms in life, and may we never take them for granted. As a representative of our citizens in our elected role, we ask that we remember always that we serve all and not just a few. We ask that you wrap your loving arms around all who are suffering in life. May they know there is always hope through you. Be with those who serve this great nation in the fields of danger. Be with them and their families, for they sacrifice so very much each day. May we always serve you and follow your teachings and ask you to guide us each and every day in our life. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
If you'll stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We'll go ahead and move right along, and we'll hear about, Miss Jackie's gonna talk to us about, by the way, just for information, Miss Mariah did have her baby.
Oh,
And, it was I believe, healthy,
Oh, good.
5 pounds,
12 ounces.
12 ounces.
How big?
5 pounds, 12
Oh,
ounces.
barely a keeper.
18
Yeah.
inches long.
Yeah, 18
Oh, I
inches
had a
long.
long one.
Yeah, my own, but tiny little baby.
Yeah.
Little boy.
Girl.
Oh, little girl.
Little girl. And,
Is she
so,
doing okay?
yeah, everybody's doing fine.
Oh, great.
So,
So when we taking money up to?
Today.
We could do that today for you guys if you'd like.
just whenever, if you don't have it today, but we'll, just whatever you think you wanna do.
I
you
can
know.
spot you, but I charge you additional,
How much?
So,
so more than you're comfortable with.
I guarantee Jamie, you won't have your wallet with him.
Hey, no, I got it.
Have you got it today?
oh, he does.
Bill's
Okay.
got plenty of money.
Miss Jackie's gonna give us the bills that we need to, gotta do minutes first.
I'll move we approve the minutes.
I'm sorry,
That's
my
fine.
bad. Okay, there was motion to approve the
Second.
minutes and seconded, it was made by Manager Gay, seconded by Manager Cohen. Any discussion changes to the minutes?
It'll be devastating, Missy, but litter has 2 T's. It's not a liter.
Did I put LIT? I'm sorry, Tom.
Well, I want people
I'm
to
sure
know
I'll
I'm still
correct
reading
it.
the minutes.
All right, with that that change to be made. What else? Anything else? There being any other changes, all those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Now, I believe on the agenda, we can approve some bills. Ms. Jackson.
The total bills to be paid is $289,136.87.
And they have those in their binder.
Yeah, we had to have a couple last minute, so.
And that's what is on top here.
Make a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
All right, motion to approve the bills made by Manager Salmon and seconded by Manager Short. Any questions or on the bills? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The bills will be paid as passed. Thank you for that. All right. Let me get back here and get off my minutes and see what's next. Our budget transfers. How about those?
There are no budget transfers, and I have one cash transfer.
And the cash transfer,
It's $100,000 to EMS operations.
okay?
I move we approve the cash transfer as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the one cash transfer to EMS by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Short. Is there any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries for that. Yes. Thank you for that. And we start our consent calendar. I would like to recommend that Miss Kathy Miles be reappointed to the Human Rights Commission.
I make that motion.
I second that.
Motion made by Magistrate Ellis to approve that recommendation and seconded by Magistrate Salmons. Are there any questions or comments about the nomination?
I think that's a good quality appointment.
I do too. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries unanimously. We'll send her a letter to that effect on her appointment. Next, according to Magistrate Cullen, Dr. Guerrant is unable to be here this morning, but we will plan, if available, to invite him to the next session of court in 2 weeks. Is there anything you want to say briefly in his absence?
I will say, I know that he does encourage those that all could, please get your vaccines. I know that the staff at the hospital are overworked and they're going through a heck of a time over there, so just read this morning someone else has gotten taken up to UK and probably won't make it, so we need to do something.
Can I make a point? Can I say something? Yes, sir. You're exactly right, and I agree with you 100%, okay? I lost a dear friend yesterday, right here, that I've had coffee with every Saturday for 30 years, and he will not get his shots, first of all. So he said I'm healthy, and I've had, just exercise and all this. He developed it 3 weeks ago. Well, he started getting better, and I thought he was going to be able to do it. Then he had pneumonia with both lungs flat. He ended up, he died yesterday. Lindsay Campbell's his name.
I'm sorry, sir.
Lindsay
I
Campbell.
did, I'm sorry to hear that.
I talked to Charlie Perry today, who was in the coffee club with you on
Yes,
that.
yes.
And Lindsay, and Charlie, just so people to know, is doing much, much better, and he said he's about 80%.
Charlie's doing fine.
Yeah.
Charlie had both shots.
Well, the gentleman I saw was in his 40s, so
This guy's 74.
but still, it's just a shame all the way around.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
since
you very
Dr.
much.
Grant's not here, we'll move on to Duane Campbell. And Duane, you want to talk about flex funds?
All right, we have received the agreement from the state for our flex funds, our flex fund agreement. As a part of that, we have to approve a resolution. You've done this in the past. The total dollar amount is $137,390, and we've already made our list of 2 projects that we're going to pave with that money. So this is just a procedural thing. It's I guess, approval of the resolution, and then gives the judge the authority to sign the agreement. Then we send it back to
Motion.
Frankfurt.
What tab is that in there?
3, right after 3.
Number 3,
Number 3, and the resolution should be at the very back.
I make that motion, Judge.
I'll second it.
okay, there it is, okay.
And I'd comment that I'm very thankful in looking at the roads that are in my district. Thank you.
We have,
You got all the roads.
I don't say no.
we've finished our third round of mowing. The state contractors are beginning to come into the county now,
Yeah.
so for their third round.
Yeah, they're hitting it pretty hard.
Well, they've been doing the federal highways. I noticed 150 and 127. There'll be a different crew come in probably either into this week or next week and do all the other roads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
There's a sight line that Phil first brought to my attention, and I literally weed whacked it about 100 yards on Perryville Road as it approaches west to east to Caldwell Road, and it's growing back again. And it's a little bit dangerous to jump over that rail and lean over that ravine where they put the pipeline in. So if you could contact somebody to get better than a weed whacker in there.
well, they normally do that with the North Point crew. That's why it's gotten so out of hand. They have sprayed it. It has
It's
been
growing
sprayed.
back now.
Yeah.
Looks like there'd be some way, he's exactly right, looks like there'd be some way that we could cut that down and spray it, and kill it.
It has been sprayed. I noticed the Johnson grass has been
Well,
sprayed.
right, you can't get out.
Yeah.
Coming out well.
But the Johnson grass will come back next year, but you know, at least it's been sprayed this year.
Yeah, these are small trees and things that have just grown
Yeah.
up over time.
We'll try to come around through there and maybe catch it too when we finish up our long
Thank
one.
you.
Knock it back. Did-
Question for you, Duane.
We
On
jumped
most
off
of
task. Did we
these-
vote?
These
Did we vote?
pages in tab 3, these are all flex funds, so that's what the resolution is referencing.
Yes.
But in there, I also have a page
There's your projects.
on Cream Ridge and Glen Island Road.
That's the
Those are
two projects, yes.
Okay. So we have a motion made by Magistrate Ellis and seconded by
Ronnie.
Magistrate Salmon. Who?
Sure.
Short.
Either one of them.
Seconded the motion. Is there any questions about the flex fund spending on the projects, those two roads? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
In your packet on the, I do notice, so I'll explain that real quickly. The judge was the one that took the lead on this. The very first page you see is a letter. It's a letter approving some emergency funds. We did apply for some emergency funds to patch.
That's why I was
3
trying to look at the delineation
Yeah.
between the information
No,
here.
that was included.
Okay.
She just included in that packet, but
Right.
that's an approval of some emergency funds to cover half of the cost of patching 3 roads that were damaged by flooding back in the summertime, so.
Yeah, and those roads are listed in that, on that document. And it's about, what, $7,500, if I remember correctly?
Yes, yes.
To help patch those flood damaged roads.
So just FYI, that's what that was
Before
for.
we lose you, Duane, Needmore Road, as you know, they cut out a margin of our asphalt.
Yes.
About like this. They're doing a very good job all up and down the road of getting rid of rocks and putting in new dirt. But that asphalt, and we're not on an emergency situation, but isn't it late October when they quit asphalt?
End of November,
End of November, okay, good. All right.
yeah.
Well,
But we'll try to remind them.
Before you get away, how's the Parable Bridge project going? Is it on time?
I'm pretty close. We've heard rumors that they're gonna at least be able to have both lanes of traffic open by next weekend, by the end of this week, sorry.
This weekend.
The entire bridge won't be clear, but we've been told that they're gonna have 2 lanes of traffic across the bridge.
I let the judge know yesterday that I've been down there with Steve Bailey, one of the council members, and I've talked to Brian Colwell as well. They have the sub base down. They don't have the finished base on the eastbound lanes yet. But they formed up for that rail, and as the judge and I said, that form is gonna be stronger right now than anything to actually have the walking rail to keep it from falling in. And I really do believe they're gonna open it up.
I do
over the
too,
weekend.
Yeah.
and so does the mayor, I believe.
The talk is they'll just shift that barrier over to protect that newest rail they're gonna pour this week probably,
Yeah.
because they can't let anything hit that yet. But they can move that temporary barrier over within 3 feet of it,
Yeah.
and they'll have plenty of room for 2 lanes of traffic. So that's what we're
great.
hoping, that's what we're hopeful for. Yeah, it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're progressing. They, you
Yeah.
know, they're working on the last rail now.
They have 3 workers out with COVID.
So they're hoping, they're forming and putting the rebar in and getting ready. They may pour it at the end of this week, I
They
hope.
could, yeah.
So
Well, everything worked out pretty good for the festival this weekend.
that's what we're hopeful of, because they should be able, see, 7 days today maybe, when they poured that, deck
Yes.
on the eastbound side.
Yeah.
So, they needed to wait 7 days before they could put traffic on it. So they're now at that point. So anytime this week, they could shift that barrier and put traffic on it, so.
Very good. Any questions, any other questions?
I know the buses would be great, you're glad that day.
Yeah.
Some of the buses gets held up in the afternoon, 45 minutes,
Yeah,
and it's been painful.
a lot of traffic down there in the afternoons especially.
All right, great, thanks.
Okay, all right.
Thanks for everything, Duane.
Send, Brian in, Brian.
Did we vote?
I don't know, we voted on it.
Huh?
Did we vote?
Tom and Ronnie, Tom made a motion, Ronnie
Oh, we
seconded.
just had the motion and the second, so I thought we voted, but all those in
We did
favor of
not, yeah.
approving the resolution as recommended, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Yeah, I didn't think we
Opposed,
voted
like
on it.
sign? Okay, my bad. I don't know what my mind is today.
I thought we voted.
Yeah, well, she got it
Twice.
We want to make doubly sure that the resolution holds tight.
Yeah.
All right,
Good morning.
good morning.
Which one you want to do first, Judge?
Now, let's do the discussion on the employee salaries first.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. You wanna do that first?
It's however you want to do it. I'm fine either way.
Yeah.
Right here. I've got her here. She's just sitting
Oh,
over in the
okay.
corner.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go
Okay.
ahead and do that. Well, there's Les.
Come on up here.
You take my stuff off.
You fit, yeah, it's fine. You can take it off.
You can breathe in those things.
Melissa, we have something very special for you today, and this is we have had the opportunity for your distinguished service as a county employee for a number of years, and in consultation with the jailer and everything, we want to express our deepest and greatest appreciation to you, Melissa Jones, for your unwavering loyalty, unrelenting dedication that helped in leading our path to success for the jail detention center. You are being honored with much appreciation and gratitude by this fiscal court, presented by the Boyle County Fiscal Court and the detention center on this day to recognize your 27 years of faithful service. And I would like to take this out so you can hold it if we can. And I want to get some pictures with you and Les and Brian, not just the three of you.
Wait a minute, Chad too.
And Chad. Let the three of them get this out of the way, and then we'll get some others in there. Chad, did you get one, just the three of them?
I did not, let me grab one.
You wanna move over, so this is out of the way, or what?
I've got it right here. I'm smiling really.
You can take your mask off, they got theirs off. We can-
Yeah, we can see you smile.
1, 2, 3. There we go.
All right.
All right, Chad, now you.
Take your mask off, so we can see you.
All right, everybody, smile big. And let me get one of mine through here, just in case. Again. Thank you.
Let me, yeah, let me get
Oh,
one
yeah,
with
my
the jailer and
goodness, yeah,
Melissa.
yeah.
And,
Okay, all right.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
all right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You like to say anything?
It doesn't seem like 27 years.
Went by fast?
real fast.
And I told her she has to do 4 more too, so.
Yeah. Keep on keeping on.
I didn't figure it out till I seen him. I was like,
It was
all
a
right,
good
I got
one.
something up their sleeve. Thank you all.
You're welcome, and thank you.
That's the
Thank
big
you.
guy, who's the big guy with her?
And I love the jail. I love the county.
Put your mask back on now.
Y'all feel free,
Yeah,
y'all
if you
feel
want-
free
if you
to
wanna go
leave.
out and sit in the
Les.
hall, you can
That's
for
it
this
for
next
tonight.
part.
But again, thank you so much for everything that you do to make us better each and every day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you all for allowing us to present her with it. I think it's well deserved. You know, anybody that puts 27 years with the county deserves it, so.
Oh, yeah.
Hard time right there.
What other areas does she work in?
She, a long time.
She started when the jail was out back here, is when she started under, I guess that would've been Chris Hill
Yeah,
was the jailer.
yeah.
And she's worked the entire time for the Boyle County Detention Center. And of course, she's now administrative captain.
That's a chore, right?
That's an amazing feat.
That's amazing, yeah.
And she, you know, and she's a very valuable employee because, you know, when we're trying to work and get people moved or something going on, she's been around long enough and has made connections with the Department of Corrections or state. She knows who to call, and she is definitely a valuable asset to not just the jail but to our community as well. So, and thank you all for allowing us to do that.
With that. Ready? Employee salaries, you wanna start the lead on that?
Well, we did meet last Friday before last with the Joint Jail Committee with Mercer County, discussed it, and I want to refer to Magistrate Gay because he's kind of taking the lead on this and
Okay.
working between the two counties.
Right, yeah, we're working with Mercer County, we've been in communication, and, I feel like it's going well, we're trying to.
I feel very optimistic, don't you?
Yeah, I do too, I feel optimistic, and we want to continue to work with our partner. Where we are right now is we're working on $1.50 raise across the board. We've looked at, and I know, not including their overtime pay, but their base starting pay at North Point and our state corrections institutions is currently they're at $14.42 an hour is their base starting pay. They do have some other incentives and things built in that are hard for us to compete with. But one of our goals is to get us at least in a market competitive position, because right now, our starting pay is $12.50 an hour, and we're working to get that up to 14, and in doing that, we need to bump everybody across the board. So that's the plan, that's what we're working on.
With the exception of the constitutional officer, which.
Right, that doesn't
Right,
affect
right,
doesn't
right.
affect me.
Right. So that's where we are right now, and we are in communication with Mercer County, and the judge and I both spoke with Judge Dedman yesterday, so we're continuing to
And
work
they
with them.
they seem very receptive to the concept.
They do, and so I'm optimistic. We're not there yet, and we know that there is a sense of urgency here, and we're trying to work with a sense of urgency as government can, and we're working it through the process here.
And I will add this, I did receive a resignation last week that kind of shocked me. It's one of my lieutenants has been there 10 years, and his reasons were better pay, better retirement, better benefits. So he's going to, as a lieutenant, a supervisor, shift supervisor, he's probably making 33, and with their overtime and stuff, he's going to be going to 44, plus having a hazardous duty retirement. So, and this is somebody I thought would never leave.
Have you changed your mind after the pay raise?
I don't know. I'm going to try to talk to him and talk him out of it, but that's what we're facing, and it's hard, you know. And Magistrate Caywood had brought up, you know, we've got factories coming in. It's going to be starting out at $20 an hour. Well, why would somebody want to come to the jail and work for $12.50 when they're, you know, there's a possibility of being spit on, you know, hurt, assaulted, and dealing with all the issues that you have to deal with our population? You know, it makes it hard to get good people. And that's what we want. You know, we're a professional agency, and we want to set the standard for the rest of the state. We want to be at the top and say, hey, look, you know, when people ask, well, how does Boyle County do it? You know, we want to be the model.
You know, some people might ask, why are we doing this out of cycle, or considering this out of cycle? It's because of the current employee situation he's in, down 7 or 8.
Well, he'll be 8.
He'll be 8 employees out of your normally assigned 41, 42.
It's 41.
So, you know, we have to do something to inject a new wave of opportunity for people to come to work. And this is about, I don't know what else to do other than this, to try
Brian,
to help
you
the
won't be aware
emergency
of-
situation.
You won't be aware of this, but I'm gonna encourage all the magistrates, please look at J.C. Young's survey request. It actually highlights the jail, but even before I knew that, going down into the 9 or 10 responses, I mentioned my top priority was that something be done about the jail, about the hazardous duty retirement, and everything else that we've talked about in here. So if you haven't had a chance to answer J.C. Young's KMCA request for the legislative slate that we would be supporting in the very near future, please go in and take that survey, and I would appeal to you because of the serious situation with the jails that you emphasize that.
And I would just echo what the judge said. We fully understand and recognize that this is out of budget cycle, and that's always an issue and a concern. But there is an urgency here that we need to get this taken care of, and so we are addressing that. And I've been working with Jackie and Julie, and the finance committee has been working diligently on this and looking at our numbers. And the bottom line number on this is it's basically it adds $100,000 and a little bit of change there to the bottom line, which, you know, I don't know I can't remember, I think it's like 2971 or something like that is the actual.
This ratio,
percentages.
right.
So it's $71,000 to our bottom line, $29,000 effectively to Mercer County's bottom line, and so those are the kind of numbers we're talking about. They're out of budget, and we also are looking at other ways, you know, because with our current understaffing situation right now, we think there may be enough savings within the fact that we don't have the employees.
Haven't been fully staffed.
We haven't been fully staffed, and so hopefully we're gonna do some more number crunching, and hopefully it'll be pretty close to being a wash as far as this actual budget cycle anyway, and then we can get it back in.
Because of the cost savings on the understaffing, salaries are not being paid.
Right.
For those
Well, I would also
7,
say,
8.
well, I'm getting out of this is overtime. We're probably having to pay a lot of overtime.
Right.
And so once you start saving on some of the overtime, because
Right.
you've got proper staffing, that's gonna bring you a little bit
More
better
back in line.
in numbers.
And to Magistrate Cullen, what we normally do is we always have one person every shift scheduled for overtime in case it's needed, because we never know when somebody's going to be sick or vacations and we have to take somebody to the hospital and sit with them. So now we've gone from 1 to 2 because of the shortness of the shifts of each one of them. So now we're requiring 2 people to be scheduled for overtime. Now, we may not use them both that day, or we may not use either one of them, or we may use both of them, but that's kind of what we try to do to make sure we don't, you know, we stay and we have enough staff to run each shift.
So, this will further push on the point that Master Caywood has made before, why we need an HR position. We need an HR professional in here that's looking at this, that's their job, they're constantly doing it. Brian, was it 2 years ago, me and you were fighting for 50 cents from this court? And we got what, a quarter?
Well, no, we actually got 50 cents and 50 cents. We did get $1. It was 50 cents in the first year we took office.
We were going for $1 and I got 50 cents.
And then the next year, when the new budget
Yeah.
come in, it was
Yeah.
another 50 cents.
So, I mean, if we'd kind of taken action back then, we wouldn't be taking a $100,000 hit. We'd be taking $33,000 and some change each year, and you wouldn't be losing people left and right. So the HR position is going to be key to making sure that, you know, that's their job. They're looking at it and see what we're staffing, what we're paying.
Make sure we're staying
But, you know,
competitive.
the plaque we just gave away said dedication, loyalty, much appreciation, faithful service, make us better each and every day. Can't keep giving out plaques. Said this before with EMS. Can't keep giving out these little, you know, slaps on the back, and don't put anything where it really matters to these employees. That we do appreciate them. You know, we've got tax dollars that we receive. We got to make sure the tax dollars go for the right things, which is our employees, we take care of them first. And with that, y'all are gonna get mad, but I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead and approve this $1.50 raise. And so that way we don't have to wait any longer if Mercer decides to come on board or not. But I make the motion, we go ahead and give them $1.50 across the board, except for like do you guys have salaried people? Like, are you and Chad salaried?
Well, I'm separate constitutional. Chad's, how are you? You're salary.
Salary. Any other salaried ones or just?
I think Chad's the only, because he signs payroll, so we had to do that because if I'm gone to class or vacation, he's able to sign
I'll
payroll.
second that motion, let me explain it. Last night, Jamie and I talked about this. We can do this. We do have a partner, a county away in Mercer County, and the judge and Jamie have had excellent conversations with them. We have the right to do this because of our statutory and contractual relationships with Mercer. So we don't want it to be an affront to this concept of negotiating with them and keeping them informed, but this is an urgent circumstance, and therefore that's why I'm willing to second this motion.
Well, I don't want to change the motion, but I would think a motion that would say that we 100% moving forward to the goal of, we 100% support the $1.50 raise per hour in conjunction with our partner at 29%, Mercer County, being being okay with the, because that's their obligation too, that 29%, that 30,000. I don't know.
So if something breaks in the jail and we have to fix it,
They pay 29%.
they pay 29%.
Yes, sir.
We don't go back through this whole negotiation.
No,
correct?
no.
So this jail's getting ready to break, because if we don't get the staffing where it is, we're gonna lose more people because they don't wanna keep working for nothing.
I think we're all singing off the same sheet of music. I just think that the motion of 100% support would go as far as us passing it unilaterally. I don't
Mr.
know.
Cullen, I understand that thinking, and I would encourage you to amend your motion. I would second it as a strong 100% unanimous recommendation going forward to the meeting that we're gonna have next week.
Right.
That would
Can
be,
I break something down for you, for information, is when you look at all these positions, there are positions that aren't on the floor, that aren't dealing with the inmates, and we were trying to pull those out and set those out of this raise, perhaps. So I think that before you do an across-the-board raise for everybody, I do think you need to look at the roles of everybody and who's doing what, and making sure that you're
Yeah, I think there's
understanding who you're
Well-
giving a raise to and why.
Well, on that, as a jailer, I feel like it needs to be across the board. Just because they're in a different position, is the tight end more important than the quarterback, or is the quarterback more? Everybody has a role to play out there, and I think everybody deserves a raise if they've been there their time, because there's times they still have to go out and deal. We pull people out of their position to cover positions, and I think, to be fair, it's going to cause problems. It's going to create a bigger problem if we don't do it across the board.
I agree.
Who would you be leaving out?
I don't want to leave anybody out. I want everybody. There's people like, well, let's take Lieutenant Lyons, who does,
Chris?
Chad, he deserves as much as everybody else. He puts in the hours and times. I mean, there's times that we put in, he's salary, and, he puts in 50, 60 hours sometimes, because when we're short, we come in to cover.
Called in the middle of the night.
His phone rings, my phone rings in the middle of the night.
I know, but we're paying him pretty well.
And he deserves it for what he does, because he has the same liability that I do by being chief deputy. And he runs the day-to-day operations. We kind of segregate. I'm not a micromanager. Give somebody a task. Here it is. If you need help, come see me. Or if something's not working, come see me. But you take like Lieutenant Lyons, who does probably 10 different jobs. It's not really even in her job description. She covers those because she is really good, especially with pulling camera footage and getting things ready for court. And every time we get an opens records request, and there's a whole lot to it. There's a whole lot that people don't see You know, everybody out there deserves this, and not just the floor. I mean, yes, the floor people need it, but also those in those other positions need it as well.
And they're all in the same environment.
Yes.
Again, I feel good about where we are as a court on this, and you know, we can obviously take the vote, but I agree with Judge Hunt's position, and I would like for us to continue to have our conversation with our partner in this, because I just think you know, I feel like we're trying to do this the right way. We don't want to come across as ramrodding this. This is you know, it's an out of budget type of thing. There are other things that are in the budget cycle. When things break, you know, we've got funds and things generally that we can pull from that are already, you know, put in the budget as part of the plan. So I just think if being out of the budget cycle, I just think it's the appropriate thing to do to take our time. I feel, like I said, I feel good about where our court is. I don't know where their court will be, but it's worth at least having the conversation, then we can move forward.
I'm gonna remind everybody, so if something goes wrong, it's our butts, not theirs.
Well,
So
they've got
each-
29%. I don't think I agree with the judge. I don't think we should rub them the wrong way. And I like the conversation you and Jamie had, because I think that's the way it ought to be worked. Tell them what we're doing and what we recommend. And then if they don't do it, then we still follow up. But I think we should cooperate with them. Don't you, David?
You know, here, and I think it's, everybody in here knows my feelings toward the relationship we have with them.
Yeah.
And I've tried to mend those fences. I seem like I always get my hand slapped when I do. So I'm not a big favor of the partnership we have, but I think what's fair would be to include them, because they do, you know, contribute 29%. They have a fiduciary responsibility just like we do, and they're taxpayers. You know, that's their taxpayer money, and I think the right thing to do is they be included. You know, and if they, you know, even if they may not see things our way, then we'll have to do what we have to do to make sure we move forward and keep it.
We don't like the situation. I agree with you.
'Cause
You and I have talked about this before, but we're in it.
Yes.
So let's make the best out of it we possibly can, and I agree with the judge said we need to try to cooperate with them and get them on board. And, you know, I don't know what we do if they say they don't want no part of it, we'll do it anyway.
But I think it's just the right thing to do. It's just good business, because they are a financial partner, and I think that would be, you know.
In that spirit of cooperation, I rescind my second to the motion, optimistic that our colleague will restate it in the spirit Judge stated.
John?
If I may, and I don't want anybody to misunderstand what I'm gonna say. 20-some years ago, we set the rules. We're gonna be partners. A few years ago, they were coming back together, renegotiating, and we said we're gonna be partners. We're going to change the structure. Well, if we don't have them come along with us, then we're changing the structure that we all agreed to a long time ago.
Yeah.
That will send the wrong message, in my opinion, to them, and particularly to their magistrates.
Yeah.
If time is of essence, have a special meeting, have a recommendation come from the Joint Jail Committee, which I'm being led to believe we know what that answer's gonna be, but it makes it official. I think we're gonna have rules, let's stay by the rules and play the game, and let the committee system work the way it's supposed to work.
I believe that's where we're headed right now, but
Well, let's make it official, and that's by vote, that's the way the rules are. Let's stick by the rules and not pick and choose when we're gonna follow them and when we're not gonna follow them. Let's just do it the way that we know it was set up.
It will work.
If we didn't want it to be a partnership, then we should have decided that before now, but it is.
Yeah, that 29% was set up, we set that up a long time ago. I don't know if we did the right thing or not, but it's been that way.
well, it's helped us, it's helped them.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you think?
You rescinding your second, so
Yes, I
there is
did.
no second now as far as.
That's correct.
Well, unless it's seconded, it's a dead issue, I believe, Judge.
I really think a restatement is very much to be encouraged to show the unanimity that we hold for this critical move.
And I appreciate, you know, Master Cullen's motion, you know, because he cares about what happens to our employees.
We all
And you all do, right, and that, but
Yeah.
I just think we need to, we just need to do this the right way. If this is the way, you know, like I say, I don't.
We're gonna do it, but let's do it the right way.
Exactly, you know, and I don't agree with the contract, and that's been no, see, I've never hid that, the deal we have with them and the way everything is, but that's what you all agreed to, and I think that, you know, you all, the physical court, we need to agree, go by what you all said.
Judge, procedurally, if you deem that this motion dies for lack of a second, I'll make another motion.
Is there any other seconds to Master Cullen's motion? Is there any other second to Master Cullen's motion? There being none heard, floor is open.
I would make a
The
motion.
motion dies for lack of second.
I would make a motion that we vote as a body to send the message forward to Mercer County that we totally support the proposal of this increase.
I'll second that.
Motion been made by Master Ellis, seconded by Major Short. Discussion.
Can we put a time frame in here? Because we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Now we're not gonna have another meeting for another 2 weeks. And then, how long are we gonna kick the can down the road?
Why don't
Yeah.
you throw a date out there, so set a date, and let's get it done.
I would like to have it done by next court session. We've already waited. I mean, that'll be a month by then.
I think we can accomplish that, don't you?
I'll amend my
I think the only
motion to
thing that-
say, to have this resolution by the end of our next court session.
Okay.
That's good.
Because I remind you, Lincoln County and lots of other people are paying a lot more money because they have to ship off their inmates to other places because they've had to shut down.
I guess the only thing I would ask about that, again, as I said, is I don't like it any more than anybody else does, but there is a certain speed of government that it just takes because of, you know, all
There
the
doesn't have to be.
processes.
There doesn't have to be.
There is to a
We can
certain
hide
level.
behind that, but there doesn't have to be. We can actually stand up and make
So I
decisions.
guess my point is that we're gonna communicate, and then Mercer County meets today, and then they'll meet the same time we meet next month, or the second meeting, first meeting of next month, I'm sorry. And so I just wanna make sure that we're also realizing that we're working with them, and they've got to communicate at least their first meeting after we meet with them next week with their court, and then I think we'll be in a position to.
Hopefully, they'll
decide.
do it in the interim between court
They
sessions.
could.
But we
But I
can't
just wanna
guarantee
say-
that because we're not them.
Right.
Was the judge bringing that up today, Judge, at their court meeting, do you all know, was it gonna be
I
discussed?
don't know.
No, I don't think it was today.
You don't think they were gonna discuss it?
Julie, did you have a chance to look at their agenda? I forgot to, I meant to
I
look at
did
their
not,
agenda.
no.
I meant to look at their agenda, but I forgot to.
But I doubt it got it on after yesterday.
The motion is amended to have resolution
By the end of the next.
by the first court session in October.
Yes. Ronnie?
He seconded. Okay. Discussion, more discussion on the amended motion. There being no discussion on the amended motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries unanimous.
All right. Thank you all.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
This is not only Boyle County and Mercer issue, this is Frankfurt issue. I know you all are trying to do everything you can up there. I would ask you to continue to do that, put all the pressure on them. Because it's not only detention, judicial's involved in this too. Because you all don't have customers, if you may, unless judicial sends them to you, which you can't control, but I understand it. So Frankfurt's gotta look at both areas, detention as well as judicial, to help solve this problem.
We
This is why
actually.
we've got to look at that survey that KMCA has sent out.
We actually have the Kentucky Jailer Association Conference next week. We have a board meeting next week. And this is something not just Boyle County, Mercer County is dealing
it's
with.
all over.
This is every jailer. And I think in the future, you're going to see some movement from our association. I don't want to speak to it now, it's too early.
Brian, I've heard that before.
Well, I think we're gonna see some
I hope
movement,
so.
and you know, because this is, but the thing too is, you know, is the Magistrates Association, the Judges Association needs to be on board with our association moving forward to make anything happen.
Is that the way it is? That are we? Is our group helping all we can do to help you all?
You know, I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Let me say this, that I have recommended to Director Henderson, Jim Henderson, that he include a breakout session that is dedicated to the jail issues in the Commonwealth, so that the KJA, the magistrates, and the judges can all get together and hear and discuss and vocalize their concerns that they have with where the state is on funding and everything else. I have not heard back from Jim to see if we can do this, but I'm saying this out loud, Phil, so you can help me promote that.
We'll do
To
it.
bring these folks together in it could be a Caicos conference,
You're talking about breakout
a
session.
breakout session just on the jail detention issues
We'll do it.
across the state.
Did you include the judicial system?
I can, but they don't normally come to the Caicos conference.
But I would like to see somebody,
A representative.
whoever that is, a
It
representative.
would probably be somebody from AOC.
They need to hear our story.
Yeah.
And I-
And I think a
In
meeting
other
like
words,
that
you want
would
us to
help
try
our
to
story.
get someone there, John? from
Yes,
the
sir,
state.
I would recommend, otherwise, everybody's doing their own thing.
And I think the legislature too, somebody that represents
There
that
needs to be some
committee.
legislators here at this meeting.
On that
And the
one.
people who are the decision makers, and let's get on with it.
And Phil, please add the top law enforcement officer of the Commonwealth, and that would be the Attorney General, because he will be more than empathetic.
I think this is a very important, critical meeting, and I've talked about this with our jailer in the past. And I got on the phone and talked to Jim, and while he was there, and I just think it's very important to bring everybody together.
The players have to come together.
Yeah, they do.
Louisville and Lexington will certainly be there if you've been watching the news on either of the networks that broadcast their news.
They don't have the same issues that the smaller ones have.
But they are in a horrible crisis. In one case, I think it's in Louisville, they have one officer in the jail for 200
You're talking about
inmates.
a large facility.
And the weight of that big vote out of Louisville and Lexington.
Louisville, Lexington, Laurium, in trouble. But
I think-
believe it or not, but some of these other jails are making money.
There's about 2 jails, maybe 3 jails in the state, and they're a
You're on
bigger
that
jail.
board, you're
They
on-
house federal inmates, and that's how they do it.
Is that how they make their money?
they-
Boyle County?
Oldham, I think Oldham house it.
Right.
Oldham does good. Amy Brady, which is Henderson County,
Yeah.
and then Jamie Mosley, who we went and seen in Laurel County.
County.
But they've all built new facilities, larger facilities to house federal inmates. So,
Well, I noticed that, getting off subject a little bit, Julie gave us a copy of the, I think you sent this, Chris, the,
Chad.
request
Chad.
for the money, that $10,000 grant. There won't be no problem. You haven't heard back?
No, sir, I think they released the grant notices on the 7th, October 7th.
Yeah, okay. That's the deadline to apply, so it'll be the next day, but we won't have any problem getting that on.
That'd be good.
Not to put anything else on Julie's shoulders here, would it make sense for us to actually put a letter together as a court, asking Daniel Elliott, Rick Girdler, President Stivers, whoever else, just send a letter asking for them to tackle this serious issue, because that's where the change is gonna come.
I think it's a great idea.
So I really think we need to put together a
We can do that.
resolution or whatever, some sort of letter to those that represent us in Frankfurt and tell them we need their help, because they're always touting how, we at the local level are the one, their eyes and ears. This is an important issue that we need help with.
With carbon copies to KCO, with KG,
AOC,
KJCA,
send it all.
KMCA,
Brian, can you
and the
send
Attorney
me the
General.
talking points or what you need?
Yeah, Daniel, well, that,
I'm not
Chris
sure, are we asking
Chris
for more
Early.
funding
Yeah.
from the state?
Right, we've not received an increase in 16 years. Per diem increase.
No,
we don't
I'm
know
saying
that.
this is
We
a
hope-
different, this is us sending a letter from Boyle
Medical.
County asking for help from those that
$1.91
represent us.
Yeah, that's the
medical.
difference, it's a different thing, Sonny, I think.
And
I
KCO
think-
as well,
Signed by the whole court.
Yeah.
signed by the whole court.
Okay, I'll follow you. How about?
Send it to Daniel, well, that, Chris.
Maybe even get our partners in Mercer
I would
to send one as well.
They are a partner, if we could.
We need to have them
We
sign
need to
it.
have them sign it also.
I think a related topic that we've been discussing, and just kind of, you update us on where we stand with the pursuit of home incarceration.
Well, we, at the last Joint Jail Committee, they're going to send out a letter for an open bid proposal, or,
RFP.
right. And we have, there's a gentleman that called and left a message, I returned his call yesterday, that's been providing a service to some scale for Boyle and Mercer County, so he's going to be on the next agenda for joint jail. And then they're going to have, I don't know if they're going to want everybody to come back and do it all again in one day, or just take them from the first ones we've had. We had another one last week that was there, and then, so this will be the third one, and then look at it. You know, the sale is really going to be to the county attorneys and the judges, because they're the ones that decide it.
Determine who gets it, who doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, and this is where I think it comes into play, the whole judicial part. But that, to me, is just such a win-win for.
We
you
save
know,
us a lot of money potentially.
Yeah, for those that, you know, that it's a suitable sentence for and place for them to be, it just seems like it's just so much more cost.
Especially now with the COVID and inmates being at greater risk, you know, if they end up in the hospital, we're footing that bill on a $25 shoplifting charge. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I think it's best for the taxpayers, and I'm for it. So, like I say, we're going to continue that, and I don't know, has that letter
I
been
don't see a
sent?
lot of push, in joint jail, to be honest with you, I didn't see a lot of pushback on the
No.
concept of utilization, but it did appear in discussion that it might start out really small and kind of grow based on the, you know, the experience and utilization.
And it wouldn't be used for everybody, but it would be used for certain ones. You know, it's another tool in the tool bag to use. And my recommendation on it would be the fiscal, or that we pay for that out of my budget. That would be a budget item. So, you know, Mercer County would pay for Mercer counties, Boyle County would pay for Boyle counties. It wouldn't be a 79-21 split, because that wouldn't be fair to the Boyle County taxpayers. But we have that as that way, if you have somebody that's poor that can't, you know, post a $1,000 bond or $500 bond, and they're going to have to do time in lieu, you know, of the bond to get days credit, you know, let's just go ahead and pay for it. Because if it's $6 a day versus it costs us $66 a day to house, you know, and then that's not counting the medical and everything else on
Let's be
top
honest,
of
by
it.
the time they get their day in court, it's gonna get dismissed most of the time, you know.
Or time served, they're going to get credit for time served,
Yeah,
dismissed.
exactly. So it's just, it's
Still,
an
it's a big thing.
overburden on the taxpayers here, so.
And these are low-level, non-risk, they're not violent criminals, these are shoplifters,
Like
low,
we
you
talked
know.
about a year ago, I mean, this has worked out, Oldham County's used it, it's worked out really well from them, so, yeah.
And, you know, that's something when our next budget comes in, if we can get this approved, then we could add that to our budget, have a line item in there, and then we would just bill, if it's a Mercer County inmate, we would bill Mercer County that money. If it's Boyle County would pay it.
Anything else for the jail before we move on?
Thank you all.
Good,
I appreciate you allowing me to come in and recognize Melissa, and thank you all for wanting to do something to improve the quality for our inmates at the jail. Thank you all.
Thank you, appreciate it. Send Miss
Thanks,
Angie,
guys.
if you would.
Appreciate your work.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
How is everybody?
Great,
Great.
looks like you had a big party out there.
Oh, let me tell you something. We had a real big party. We've had a couple big parties.
I'm sorry I missed
It was good.
John and I were there.
Yep. Had hot dogs and hamburgers and,
Oh, yeah.
yep.
You tell them I was sorry I missed it.
I sure did, I told
Okay.
you that.
No, you didn't. You said it on the phone. No, I'm just kidding.
Come on, Andy.
No, we knew.
We missed you, Judge, and you were recognized. You was represented.
I was represented, and I appreciate
I
that.
tried to tell them I was representing you, but they didn't want to hear it.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
Yeah, yeah.
But no,
it
but no,
looked like it's
everything went
highly
well.
successful,
Yeah, I just, you got some of the pictures there, when I done the recycling awareness week, I thought, well, if we just get 5 people, you would be doing something, but, 98, I was just wowed. They come in little groups. Mr. Caywood's wife showed up. She'd even done one of the little tours and had a talk with Geneva, and I think she put some extra honeydews on him after that.
Just another day in the office.
There you go.
I figure why you didn't have our picture in here with all this trash.
Because I had your picture of you eating and sitting at the talking. I had you doing what you done best, but But then, the hazardous household waste event, all I can say is wow. It was just.
Look at that, gentlemen, 11 tons of paint.
Yeah, can you believe that?
Everything is on the invoice that you got in your packet there. That's the invoice, and everything listed there is like by pounds and, or single units. But, we unloaded.
A lot of paint
Oh,
going on there
my.
in COVID.
COVID, I think, no wonder you couldn't go to Lowe's and get any paint. Now I understand why.
A ton
So.
of pesticides. Can you imagine?
Yeah, there was stuff. We even had a thing of mercury. Somebody even bought some mercury. So,
I thought Joe Mathis did an awful good job for us.
Always does.
Yeah.
Always does. Yeah.
He was, I got a chance to talk to him.
Yep.
Know his dad pretty well.
Yep, everything was good. That's the most cars. Its largest estate was just totally impressed, just.
That's it, just
We just-
375 cars going through.
Yep.
Who would've, I would've dreamed it, would you?
No, the highest it's been here that I have records for is around 162.
Wow, that's awesome.
So,
Yeah.
so that was advertising something, I don't know. And then, we had the document destruction set up. About a 1.5 ton of paper, could have been more, could have been a little less. That was just, pretty much an educated guess of what we had in the box, so,
Most of it white.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Cardboard
most of,
still selling pretty good.
yes. Our total as of right now, this was out the 2 that I haven't got back yet. For the year, we're at around 108,000 for recycling revenue.
Tell us about the tires.
Tires, let's see, Saturday when I left about 3:30, 10 tractor trailer loads have went out, and there was probably still that many more laying on the ground.
That many more laying on the ground?
At least.
Hey, I seen trailers leave Saturday.
We had no help. We had no help whatsoever. I had 3 men that was literally beat to death. Not to mention the public. Some of the public beat us to death.
If we have the same kind of
It won't be
response?
for 3 years, so.
It's 3 years?
3 years. It's every 3 years, so.
Okay.
Well, I think in the past, we've had, I think inmate help and, some people use their
There's
other
still some
things.
state prohibitions on that, apparently.
Apparently. But let's see. Other than that, everything's good. Working on getting our new baler.
Okay,
We can get pretty much the same price of what it was by the end of this month. So I went ahead and put the order in for it. So we don't have to have no increase
is
on
that
that.
grant money to pay for that? or is
Yes,
that
that's the
budget?
grant money that we got. And I'm doing my best to squeeze it in, not to get rid of the other one.
What about our truck?
That's my fault. I'm not done yet. I'm still getting quotes. I've been trying to tie all these other projects up and all that, but now, hopefully next meeting I'll have that ready, so.
Okay.
That's my fault. That's on me.
And that's to be used to tow equipment around and?
Oh, the big trailers and North Point's got 2 big compactors, that has to be pulled in, so.
We gotta have-
That's where the weight's at.
And you wait, we gotta have at least a 3/4 ton.
Yes, at least.
Oh, it has to be that big?
Yes. It won't pull them
Have
big
some won't do it.
compactors. No, that will not do it.
Okay.
Will not do it, so. But Duane and a few other men has helped me do the specs and things like that to go out and get my quotes. I'd rather go out and get the quotes and put in the paper because of the cost. I'd rather keep the cost down, yeah. Because as long as it's under 30, we don't have to, we just have to do our quotes, so.
Well, anybody got any other questions of Ms. Angie while she's here?
I think the only thing I wonder, I sit here and I think, this is such a wonderful service.
Oh, boy, howdy.
And do the citizens really understand?
No.
They
That's-
don't.
no.
And Angie, how do we make that?
Well, that's why I done
How
the
do we tell them?
Recycling Awareness Week. You
Yeah.
would be, out of them people, it was like, wow, we didn't know that. We did not know that.
Think
So
about
it was a big help to have that.
This is a story that needs to be told more than just a week or 2 weeks during
Mhm.
the year. I mean, this is
John,
needs to
you're
be
right,
told
and
more.
what do we? I
People
think-
don't, people would just throw stuff, you take plastic, well, they'll think, oh, put that planter, let's put that old planter, just throw it's plastic, throw it in there, They don't realize how much garbage they're giving us.
Well,
And then,
we've
of course,
all-
Geneva being there has been a big, I have to give her
Big
the,
help.
yes. She'll tell them. She'll say, you put
John-
that back in your truck, we don't take that.
John, to follow up with your point, I don't think that our residents really realize what a convenience it is and.
Or the work.
To the work and to the convenience centers we have set up.
and the cost.
I don't know if another county's really got that kind of system.
People just don't realize how hard they work over there
Yeah.
during the day. They have no clue.
Well, that's sorry, that's about like being in the jail, it's about as bad.
Well,
Worse. They don't have buttons to push.
I think this, along with that service, is a real success story for Boyle County. And I was on the radio last Thursday, I think, out on the Joe Show, and I talked about it for a good 5 to 7, 8 minutes about the success of this hazardous household waste event, and the 11 tons of paint and other stuff collected, and how successful it was with 378 cars going through. These are things that got recycled the right way and did not end up on the side of the road or in our streams or
Landfills and
or
groundwater.
anything else.
Right.
So,
In the dumpsters.
these are things that we can all talk about.
Well, the scary part of some of
whenever
this
we have
stuff is
those
people just put it on the ground, it ends up in your groundwater,
Yeah.
ends up in the creeks and the river, and
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's a
you.
pretty big deal.
The job you're doing.
Yeah,
Thank you. Anything else, anybody? Improvements? Complaints? Go ahead, complaints, I'm good at complaints. Speaking of complaints, Jason, any more on Mox Creek?
You hearing anything out of them?
I haven't heard anything yet, no.
I think it's an issue where it needs it when I go, and when I take care of it, it goes, and then when, I think it's become a torment thing. You see what I'm saying? They don't, they know they're telling, so we're going to, because when I went out there, everything was on a trailer except for mattresses sitting for them to see. So, of course, I did write them the letter and told them, what they need to do. But when I was out there last, there really wasn't nothing except, well, there's one truck I'm waiting on they got to get rid of.
You ought to come over my section, as they've done out there.
Whereabouts?
On White Oak Road, that he's put more RVs in there, junk cars.
Okay.
And then over on Stewart's Lane, that guy's put a fence up with, skids, whatever he could put behind the trailer, and it's a teetotal wreck.
Okay, I'll get out there and look.
They're looking both of them, yeah.
Get out there and look.
I meant to send you, take a picture, send it to you, but that curve
I
is
can go out there and
hard.
look.
It's a little hard to take a picture of it.
Because I need to go back out there, because if they didn't do what they're going to do, I'm going to give it to Chris Aaron.
Well, what happens out there is that they, I think they know the limits, and so they throw it out there, and then we're burning it behind the house, but now, it's really when they have work. I mean, a lot of that stuff that they're bringing home is just that somebody paid.
Are they burning again?
I don't know if they're burning, I can ask, but I know a lot of it's like.
Because if they're burning, all they gotta do is call Donnie Sexton, because Donnie, the fire department's well aware.
Just shut 'em down.
And so is the state.
Well, the problem is that they're doing it 1 o'clock in the morning when
It won't matter. The
No, but
state
see,
can come out and see the remnants of it and,
But what I'm saying is that I think they get paid to come into these dilapidated structures and pull stuff out, and then they bring it home and they lay it on the front lawn for a couple weeks, and a lot of the people in that neighborhood are just used to it, and so finally when it gets big enough or it's been there long enough, that's when they call, and then that's when.
well, everything there was on a trailer, ready to be pulled out, except
Two mattresses.
for them mattresses sitting there.
In the front
And I think
yard.
it was just, and I knew, because I walked all around, I tried to get them to come
That
out.
RV should not be, people are living in that RV, it's hooked up, you can see.
I beat on every window. I tried to get them to come out, there was no, I knew they were home.
They were probably there.
Oh, they were there. There was too many vehicles and motorcycles there for them not to be there.
There's people living in cars out back, it's bad. The people that are there shouldn't have to deal with like that stuff. Half of it they shouldn't have to deal with, so.
I think all of us has got that one neighbor.
I tell you, I'm fortunate to have such a clean district.
Terrible road.
Now, not all of your district now, Phil. Just
Well,
there's one everywhere you go.
You know where it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, if we're done, I'll let you finish.
All right. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Angela.
All right, Miss Jackie, financial update.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you all an update on where we are right now. I got the new budget in KBS. I got the fourth quarter report that was not done, submitted to DLG. We have been working on the incentives, and we got, Susanna and I worked yesterday afternoon and got Pitman Creek's done, so it's in the bills to be paid this week, and we hope to have the other two at the next court date. And then I have been in touch with Community Trust Bank and PNC about the ARPA funds, and I've got a phone call with one of them this afternoon, and then I should have some numbers to give you all on the interest rate.
Thank you.
We can do that, do in the interim, but via email, so we can go ahead and move forward, and y'all can respond and say, this one or over that one, whatever you want to do.
That's good, thank you.
All right, that finishes the consent calendar, and we can go around for committee reports, and we'll just go around the room, starting with Pat Shadellis.
All right, sir?
Committee reports?
Yes.
Okay,
Will we make another round on general things?
go ahead and take time while you got.
Okay, I'll be quick on both. We had rather an emergency meeting, rather than a regularly scheduled jail meeting on 9/2 at 9 a.m. The inmate count on that day was Boyle 78, Mercer 42, DOC 98, other counties 3, for a total of 218. Am I right, Jamie, that we were talking that that's generally consistent right now? 60 inmates were quarantined and 6 were pro-COVID. 1 inmate was hospitalized with COVID. 41 total deputies, 8 employees off due to COVID, plus we have 7 empty positions. Obviously, we know that that's now going to be 8. This leaves 26 employees for 24/7 days a week coverage. 4 part-time deputies, 2 total. Staff shortages. Staff are working in a hostile environment where inmates attempt to spit, throw urine, feces, and assault them. Staff are required to work in a closed environment. COVID is airborne as a disease. Staff shortages are causing excessive mandatory overtime. Mandatory overtime causes employee turnover, lower motivation, and the lack of establishing a healthy workplace environment. Staff receive low pay and a poor retirement, making it hard to attract new employees and keep experienced employees. We adjourned just before 10 a.m. on September 2nd, and I submit this with a recommendation to be accepted.
All right, is there a second to the motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
And motion been seconded, Magic Gay, motion made by Magic Ellis to accept the jail.
Quick question. You said 78 were Boyle, 42 were Mercer?
Correct.
You
Yeah,
said
that's
that-
disproportionate in terms of
I was
history, but
gonna
I think.
say, that's pretty consistent, is that what you said as well?
No, overall, the 218.
The 218 was
Is the
consistent.
218, I think.
But,
Not
no.
that ratio.
That's an anomaly.
Okay.
Are you sure? The ratio is not consistent. The number 218 was, the ratio is an anomaly to the 71 and 29 split.
Good clarification.
Okay, personal, district,
Yes. I was asked by Captain Miles.
did we vote to approve?
No.
No,
we
we
did
need to
not.
vote to approve.
I made the motion.
All those in favor of the motion, seconded by Magic Gay, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carried. Now you can go district.
Thank you, Judge. In the meeting, Kathy Miles' meeting on Friday, the drug court was something that they requested that we make note that, and I was hoping that Chris was gonna be here, although I mentioned it to him yesterday when I was here, that we do all we can to work with the judges to move that forward. And I understand there is optimism that that is going to be coming forth. Beginning Friday and over the weekend, please come to Perryville for the 159th commemorative celebration and all the wonderful things that will go on in Greater Perryville and the battlefield for that commemoration. Then the following week, Portland's 50th. Its 50th celebration of Portland. Please, that is going to be a great, great weekend starting Friday night. And please come. I have posted this morning, and there's been confusion. I looked at it a few moments ago, and someone was saying, well, the people that I saw on 150 today, on Perryville Road today, were county inmates. That's not the case. These are state workers who are on 150. But we heard in a CAECO conference a year ago that $10 million goes to waste with the fact that waste and trash are dropped on our highways. Some of it is so dangerous these days, these drug days, that many churches are no longer going along and doing what they have done when they've dedicated themselves across the state to picking up trash on the minor roads. It's an issue we have to bring to the public attention. I hope that perhaps the Advocate Messenger and even the radio stations will pick up on this. I know the judge has spoken to it many times in the past on the radio. But folks, it's so easy to keep a Kroger or a Walmart bag in your car or truck and take it either, as Magistrate Cohen said earlier today, take it to the next time you get gas, because they have receptacles for it, or take it home and put it in your own trash. But it was very disheartening to drive in 6 miles on beautiful Perryville Road this morning and see literally dozens of bags that have been picked up along the way. I just can't comprehend that, but it's happening all over the state. Judge, that's all I have.
We ought to live on the main highway where I pick up trash every day.
We both do, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Some of yours travel some of these other states, see how clean they are.
We got Toyota
Roadsides.
because, I've said this before in court, and I think this is worth noting by the Advocate Messenger. One of the reasons that we won Toyota in Scott County, it was one of the cleanest counties in all the states, not just counties, but all the states that Toyota surreptitiously visited before they ever decided on where that Toyota plant, that is now a multi-billion-dollar plant in Scott County, Kentucky.
Absolutely. Anderson Caywood.
Judge, if Good, I have no committee report, but I would like to go last on the remarks section.
Okay.
After everybody's given, I'd like to reserve my time to go last.
Okay. Let's go.
I can't remember if I gave this one or not, but I'll do it again. If I did, Sheriff Committee met on 8/24, present were Metro Caywood, myself, and Sheriff Robbins. At that point, he had 2 people out with COVID. Sheriff is in need of court security, having trouble getting employees due to low pay scale. Body cams are doing great. They're keeping the officers accountable, but also those being arrested. We seem to have an issue with people being arrested and then let go by the courts. And then we discussed possible options to slow traffic on Goggin. Submit that report.
Okay, is there a second to that report, Mr. Harrison?
Second.
Motion made by Master Gill and second by Master Gay. Discussion, questions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries unanimously. Yes, sir, go ahead.
9/14 EMS Committee met. Present were Director Rogers, Metro Caywood, myself, and Jada. Sorry. We talked about this in court, but the student contract with Billy Holder, which is our homegrown EMS program, is doing well. We had a MOU with Frankfurt Fire. Guerrant would like to apply for driving software, which we talked about. Also talked about e-dispatch, which is about $129 per month. I'm familiar with that because that's what Boyle County Fire Department uses, and it's very effective. Power load systems, looks like we're going to be requesting 2 more power load systems to have all the trucks outfitted. And then as far as the truck report at the time, EC2 was in the shop, EC6 was out of service. And then we talked about the quick response that Jada's heading up. She met with many organizations to get as much info as possible to understand its needs and let them know that we're here to help. Jada spent time in Lexington to see how their program works. Local radio was very helpful. And I will submit that also for court consideration.
Report on EMS submitted by Master Gill. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Master Caywood. Questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries unanimously. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I'm going to go back to COVID here. The health department is putting on, usually puts it out on Facebook, but they have COVID shots, the Johnson & Johnson one, which is the 1 shot. And then, of course, you can pretty much get them everywhere. Ephraim McDowell's done a great job with putting out information regarding the reality of what's happening right now. As of 3 days ago, well, this was from September 17th to September 23rd, they had 90 inpatients, 73 were unvaccinated, 17 were vaccinated. 75 non-ICU patients of that crew, 58% were unvaccinated and 17 were vaccinated. And so the 15 people that are in the ICU, all 15 are unvaccinated, no vaccinated people are in ICU. COVID deaths during that time period, there were 8, 6 were unvaccinated, 2 were vaccinated. And then since March 1st, 2021, there's been 478 unvaccinated people go through the hospital, 71 vaccinated, so you're looking at like 87% versus 13. And then COVID deaths since March 1st, 47 unvaccinated, 12 vaccinated, so 80% were unvaccinated that died.
So about 1 in 10 have died.
Yeah. So we heard about one that passed away that was because of Phil, and one that probably will be, and then I've got a couple friends from back home that are, luckily the one is on the mends, but he didn't look good for him very, Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
All right, the finance committee, and unfortunately, I left my minutes in my bag at home.
With your wallet?
With my wallet. nice little binder here, and so I didn't bring my bag with me today, so unfortunately I left my minutes, but I'll try to recall them, just to get everybody updated. We met right before, it was first of the month, right before Julie went on her journey out to the West Coast. And a couple of things we've already talked about. We have discussed the budget issues that have been coming in outside of the budget cycle, and looking at our current budget situation and working to see if we can get some of those needs that are important and need to happen right now, like the truck and some other things with the jail funding worked in, and we are making some progress on that. And we talked about some of the things Jackie went over today that have been in the works this month, including her getting some of the things put in the system that she's made a lot of great progress on. We also talked about the getting the ARPA funds and talking to our local banks and getting that in an interest-bearing account, the best, option we can find for that. There's not a lot of good options out there because there's not a lot of interest to be found.
By the way, if you remember, with Cato being here at the last meeting, I did get an email back from them saying that they don't have any venues or vehicles, so to speak, to accommodate those funds for us, so.
Yeah. So that's, so it's just not a good interest market right now. So we'll just have to do the best we can. And Jackie has reached out, as was brought up at the last fiscal court meeting, she's reached out to the remaining local banks to make sure we've communicated with everybody and just find the best option we can for that money. I think that's pretty much the main things we discussed and talked about. So I would indulge me and approve those minutes off the top of my head, and I'll get those.
You recommend approval of the
Yeah.
of the finance committee minutes? Is there a second?
I second it.
Second, Manager Salmon. Any questions, comments, or discussions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
And then I would like to bring up the fact that we have had some discussion about the ARPA funds, and I think that it's going to be important for us to possibly have a meeting. I know there's been some discussion about water projects, broadband projects, and then there's also been some ideas bantered around about, if we can use it for EMS building. So I think it would be a good idea in the near future to basically have an ARPA fund meeting to just make sure we're all on the same page about what's been designated for what with those funds. It's obviously can be over a 5-year period. Some of the bigger items like the water projects and some of those will take
Broadband.
they'll take some time, but there are some other issues that, once we see exactly how we think those funds can break down, we need to look at and talk about. And one of them that has been discussed, and I think we've talked a little bit about it, is the use of some funds for some employee support, bonus, I don't know what you want to call it, but I think it's something we can talk about, we need to look at. I also like the idea of the potential of using some of those funds for a vaccine incentive, which we can talk about, look at. I don't know if you all noticed, but I just saw in the news this morning that the Fayette County Public School System is doing that very thing, and they're doing a $200 incentive for their employees to be vaccinated. And my feeling is if you're already vaccinated, you get that as well. It's not just for those that now get vaccinated. And it looks like they're using, I don't know if they're ARPA funds, but they're using some of the federal dollars.
Can be state or county funds.
Yeah, they're using the federal dollars that they're getting for that program. So those are some things I think we need to look at to really try to provide some incentives for our employees to get vaccinated. So ultimately, it comes back to we need to look at what our total ARPA funds are and how we think we can best utilize those for the.
I don't know how you feel about this or general. I really think that we should have some sort of ARPA committee to kind of, this shouldn't all just be on your shoulders, but, you know, maybe two magistrates and yourself and Julie and have a committee get together, so that way we have a firm understanding of what we have and where we think it should go, and then we can bring that before the court and discuss, you know, where we think the best needs are. So, I know the city has kind of some ideas on where the county should be spending that money, but I think the fiscal court should have a big say in it too. So, committee probably would be the best way to steer that.
Right, yeah, we each have our own dollars. I mean, the city and the county have their own.
Kind of, but I know we're going to commit
Right,
some
some,
possibly. I mean,
right.
the water is
On water projects,
a water
potentially.
project.
Right.
And I say potentially. It's
And
out
I'm
there.
hoping that project will help out with some of the issues that we have in Junction and in Parable.
Amen.
Yeah.
It will help us.
Yeah, no, there's
We
some
agree on
important,
something there.
important projects. I did want to pass along, that I did get, and I think everybody got the email at one point in time from Habitat for Humanity. And they also have followed up with a letter. I did go to their current house that they're building on Palmer Court, and it's
on
really,
Fifth Street.
it's coming along with that.
I thought that one was on Fifth Street.
No, that was a family Habitat for Humanity project.
I got you, Jamie.
But no, so on Palmer Court, and I guess they've gotten word from Habitat International or National or whoever that you know, and these funds can be used for that, the ARPA funds. So they've requested some consideration. I told them I'd bring that up. I will pass on the letter that I received from them as well after my visit
We
to
can
the
send that
site.
out electronically,
Yes.
I got that also, and they wanna meet with me, and I like the idea of the committee thing, and if you just allow me the flexibility to appoint a couple of magistrates, and Julie and myself, and probably Jackie, to sit down and talk about how much, where, when.
Do we need to
right
make a
now.
motion for that?
Do what?
Do we need to make a motion to?
Yeah, because it
put
would
up
be
that
a committee that would exist as long as ARPA is a reality.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, there's a motion to create a ARPA, let's just say an ARPA committee that deals with everything ARPA, to include the contacts with our finance and legal counsel, okay, and the bill paying. So we have a motion to create an ARPA committee, and a second made by Magistrate Cohen, second by Magistrate Gay. So are there any questions or comments about that?
You want two magistrates, the judge, myself, and the treasurer?
Yes,
Is that what you said?
that would
Two.
be adequate enough, I think. So, y'all can send me an email, and let me know if you're interested, okay?
I'm interested.
We
Okay.
voting on it?
We're gonna vote on it. We're gonna vote on it, and, are there any other questions or comments, discussions? Yes, sir, go ahead.
Cause I'm interested in being on the committee.
Okay. I got three. 4. All those in favor of the motion to create an ARPA committee, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
And would it be limited to 2 so that you don't have a quorum, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And just to finish up my comments about the Habitat for Humanity house, because they were nice enough to have me out, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate everything they do. It's an amazing organization, as I think we all understand and recognize. And they, one of the issues they're really facing is their normal house project is $70,000, and that includes the homeowner's, contribution to labor, in-kind contribution, and all the other support they get. But because of COVID and the pandemic and lots of variable factors, their cost on this home in particular is up to $90,000, which is a significant increase in the materials, etc. And so that's where they're hoping, and it has been done in around the country and other places, they're hoping, and they're asking for some, hopefully some support through those federal dollars. It's not gonna be our taxpayers' dollars, but our federal relief dollars to help
It's all
offset.
taxpayer
It's
dollars.
all our
It's all
taxpayers'
taxpayer
dollars.
I know that, but, it's from the federal support.
Is that something that you bring up at center too, to see if they can help out, with any of these projects as well?
Yeah, they have, I mean, they've got, this project is nearing completion,
Mhm.
and so they're just needing to hopefully offset some of the costs.
But I mean, as a community partner, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if
Oh,
center's
yeah.
involved in something like this as well. Not
Does
just-
everybody know where Ponder Court is?
Palmer Court.
Palmer Court, okay.
I know where Ponder Court is.
Palmer Court.
I
know where Palmer is, I don't know where
Palmer
Palmer
is off of Baughman.
Okay.
It's off of Baughman, as you're going down Baughman from like Sonic towards the mobile home park.
It's on the right there.
It's on the left, actually. It's on the
Good.
left, it's on the left, coming.
Phil, that's you, right?
Yeah. That's in
My
Phil.
district, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Sure.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
No committee report you done ours.
I don't have anything, I'd just like to add to Jamie's, some of his comments, I'm on a committee with him. And, we really like the idea that you're talking about giving a little bonus and working out something to really entice our people to be vaccinated. And I think we need to really work on that, push that a little harder, to bring that up, maybe the next board meeting to really, to get it done.
I think, I've kind of been looking at different options around the country, and one thing I kind of like is, instead of just giving straight cash to people, it'd be nice to kind of create a little circle here, so someone gets vaccinated, you know, we use some of this ARPA money or whatever to go out and purchase some gift cards from a local business. At that point, we can actually just give away probably more to people, you know, the dollar would go further, and then we're also supporting, you know, local businesses that pay taxes into this community, so it'd be kind of nice to just say, you know, you got vaccinated, here you go, or you stop by someplace, we'll show your vaccination card, and next is gonna be your booster card, you know. So, I don't know, it would be kind of nice to look at those tax dollars and see how far we can stretch them and still.
Yeah, I agree, and those options are definitely something we need to look at.
Everyone should be seeing right now that the shelves are bare. And we're gonna, I mean, as a former business owner, but I'm still involved with the business, you know, temporarily, the supply chain's running out. And it's only getting worse. There's cargo ships sitting out off the coast of California that cannot dock because they don't have the workers to unload them, and it's bad.
Same
You know,
thing on the East Coast.
It's hard for getting any sort of supplies. These business owners are running more and more and going further and further to try to find the supplies. And business is booming right now, but it's, you know, I know at the hub, we've got several things that we just can't get right now. And sadly, some of it's all from California, and so it's, them being shut down is really showing, so.
I think it's something we're gonna have to get used to, because it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Well, I disagree. I think that we saw the COVID kind of level off a little bit when the vaccinations were rolled out, and I'm not gonna get political on this party-wise or whatever, because the vaccinations were pushed out, you know, by the previous president and endorsed by the current one. So the more we can get people vaccinated that wanna be vaccinated, I believe in people's choice, but the vaccinations, it caused a downturn, you know. We saw a little bit of relief. And it's only gonna get worse every time there's a variant, so, we have the option, you know, and we just need to do what we need to do. So, it's all in our hands, so. Sorry, I took up more time.
What I'd like to say about these funds, I think before we decide to give people money for taking the shot or didn't take the shot or whatever, I think it needs to be publicized so our constituents will know what we're gonna do with some of this money, so we can get some feedback from them. Because this is not just our decision, it's the whole county's decision. So I would, if we we're gonna do this, I think we need to do that. To get
You need to
everybody's-
examine the situations where we have county employees that cannot, not just don't want, or cannot get, like our recent, new mother. She can't even get it.
There's carve-outs for that, medical and religious, there's carve-outs for that, but to Master Short's point, that's our job. They're supposed to reach out to us and we bring that back to them.
Well, if
So-
they don't know what's going on, then they can't reach out to you.
Well, then-
That's why they need to be, they
So
need
we're
to be
gonna take-
publicized, what we're gonna do with these funds, and let's see what our constituents say about it.
Oh, I understand that, but that's.
You know, that's who puts us in our office.
I'm well aware.
That's right, and that's why they elect us, Ronnie, to make those decisions.
That's true.
I'm not gonna go.
They're part of our
Every time we're
decisions.
gonna spend money, I'm not gonna sit here and go and ask everybody in my district.
I didn't tell you to do that.
That's what you're asking
Just
right
send a
now.
letter out, just send something in the newspaper, let people know what
Well,
we're
hopefully
gonna
the
do.
press will pick up on this.
That's the
If they
point of this
don't,
public meeting.
We need to put something in the paper.
I agree with you.
Okay, is that it?
I was the last one, so yes, that's all I have. I said you already had, yeah.
John, you wanna bring us, finish us
Yeah,
up?
I appreciate, bearing with me. Sometimes I see things that I think is good information, so I want to share some information with y'all today. This is a study, there's enough, I think, that everybody can take on. This is a study prepared by, for tourism by the Kentucky Department of Tourism for the year of 2019. And I've got a misspelling in here, Tom. I'd like to say it before you put that. But anyway, this is visitor spending by county for the year of 2019, and there's just certain counties that were in the study that I happened to pull. Most all of them are part of the Bluegrass Ad, counties that they serve. This is estimated total visitor spending in millions of dollars on lodging, food, beverages, sorry, Tom, retail, recreation, and transportation. My point here is the value of having a strong tourism department or committee. What you haven't seen and what I have not seen before is some actual numbers. And also, these are in by ratings. I put them in by the highest down to the lowest. And you can see how we compare with counties around us. 44 million is a lot of money in this county brought to us by tourism. We heard a few months ago that the tourism committee was in a little bit of a disarray from one of the board members. My point is, folks, we can't afford for it to be in disarray. This is a lot of money that comes into this county. It creates jobs. Jason decided to get out of it, but he got a little bit of this 44 million, I hope. I'm sure he did. But to the little business person up and down the street, it's important. It's important to have people through. It's important that people come and see what we have to offer here as a city, as a county, and what kind of people we are. In other words, I'm going to use a term that we've heard before. We got to have tourism tell our story. We have to have tourism get back together and get their act together, if you may. We've lost a year. Jennifer left in November of last year. We basically have lost a year. You can't go back and make it up, folks. Every day is a day that you can't make up.
I'm gonna slightly disagree with you. I think that you'll see the dollars from the last 2 years will probably be higher. Jennifer has always said that most of our tourism is business tourism. I always argued that said we need to go after the other portions of that tourism, that people just wanting to come to see this great community of ours. But, we have Center and Ephraim, and I can tell you when Center's out of session versus when it's in session, Ephraim, you know, people, it's important to have them actually downtown, what it did for downtown businesses and the surrounding area. So yes, you're exactly right that we need a strong tourism board and a strong tourism director, and I hope that that board is looking at that with somebody that sees not only the value of our business tourism, but also the quality of life that we have around here. And I see people that come and visit from all over the country, and they say, well, how beautiful it is here. And I never thought I'd hear my son say that he's out in Idaho right now and he misses how beautiful it is here.
Well, it's something that I think we don't always talk about and put it on the table and have a discussion and realize what you've got in front of you is some numbers.
Yeah.
And I think numbers help support the story. Our story needs to be told. Center does a great job of telling their story, and that's why they have the success that they have. But we as a county have a wonderful story, and we need a strong storyteller. And with all due respect, I think we've not looked at growth and an economy in that respect, but we all keep hearing speakers say that phrase, somebody tells your story.
Yeah.
It tells it in such a manner that it creates action. Not everybody's capable of telling a story. There are certain people who have that communication skill, pick the right words, phrase it in the right way that attracts people. I don't have it, but some do have it. And it's just something we need to keep in front of us and realize the value, and I hope this helps you to understand the value of it.
I think you've got an excellent point here, because we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to name a new head for tourism, EDP. We've got Main Street program. We've got an opportunity here to really.
Thank you, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah,
So,
I wonder what an impact that COVID had on the 2020 numbers.
Well, I don't know, this was in, Phil, this was in the Caicos magazine.
Yeah.
They had a picture of Kentucky, and I don't know if they did a 2020, and COVID probably would have not given you a real good feel for it, maybe.
There's no other state that can make the claim that the West was opened up by that state, and that's documented by none other than the 101-year-old, when he died, Tom Clark, the professor emeritus from the University of Kentucky. And we have way too many young people and adults in this community who have no clue about just how consequential that was, and who was the last person to speak to our Constitution in Washington, D.C. When it was ratified. His name was George Washington, and folks do not know the history of this community.
I appreciate the opportunity to bring it up. I just thought it was information that we, as leaders, need to keep in mind and need to know. So I hope.
Well, that's great. Hopefully, we'll be hearing soon of a selection in the process of vetted candidates for TVB director.
We'll watch, but this adds, I hope, to the value of what this job
Excellent
means.
report.
So anyway, and the other thing I wanted to talk about, and Phil, I need your input on this. I tried to think of any time that the folks in this office, the judge's office, that we had a birth. Can you think of anybody that, we had someone who worked here that birthed and brought life into the world that works for us in this office? I can't either, and that's, I thought, you know, this is.
Not an employee, what, the time
This
we've
is
been
a
on.
wonderful, to me, it's a wonderful
Yeah, we've been here a
event.
long time, yeah.
And so, when we adjourn, we have a tendency to adjourn when someone is gone. I would like for us to adjourn
In honor
a wonderful,
of a new citizen.
thank you
Celebration.
for celebration of life.
Amen.
And Lulu, that's her name, she's a beautiful baby,
What
I've
is
seen
her-
her, I've seen her picture. And I thought, this gives us an opportunity to honor life, because I think Mariah has done something that's never been done within this office, an employee who worked in this office. So I thought it was special.
We'll do that. That sounds great.
No, I'm glad John brought that up, Dick. Something else to mind, if I may, Judge. John and I and Magistrate Ellis volunteered, we're still volunteering. Y'all need somebody to answer the phone when you have to step out. But on, the thing I'd like to recommend, if you don't mind, is when you go, I think you did yesterday or this morning or something, put a little note on the door and then lock the door. Don't just leave it open. I mean, I like, it wasn't locked, well, it was Friday.
Right.
And, we came in and looked around, we didn't look around, but it was unlocked, and nobody here. So, that
What time
personally
was
bothers
it?
me. John, what time were you about?
I was here at,
3:45?
3:45 to pick up my folder, and
Just lock it. I don't like seeing it unlocked. So they go around and pilfer around the judge's office or whatever.
you all have important information in here, and it needs to be secured quite often, so
Yeah,
I
lock
would
her up.
suggest.
Is all I ask.
We can do
We can do that.
it. We'll do it.
I guess technically it's all public information.
Do what?
But
I
not
said, I guess
living.
technically it's all public information, all right?
No five-finger discounts.
Yeah, no, we wanna keep it, we don't wanna lose anything else, and I'm grateful that, you know, Mariah is.
No, we want to, you're right, we're sure to serve the public.
Right, yeah.
But we don't want to, some outlaw to come in and get, pick up, or go, or pick up maybe steal the judge's.
No, I understand what you're, not just, yeah.
A lot of them will like come in and steal his coffee cup, because it says judge on it.
Yeah. My daughter made that for me, so. Anyways, you got anything else, John?
No, sir.
All right, I appreciate everything today. I wanna make I wanna put out a reminder that, and put on your calendars, please. On 5 October at 10 a.m. in the morning, there will be a ribbon cutting ceremony at the Advanced Manufacturing Center at Bctc. Okay, and this court has a significant investment in that facility.
Yes.
I would sure like to see everybody be there if you can.
10 a.m.?
10 a.m. on October the
You send us
5th.
a little text
I will.
the day before.
I'll send you an email.
Send an email out. to everybody.
9:45 for me?
9:45 for Jason. Yes, sir.
I cannot be there, Judge, I'm gonna be out of town that week.
That's the 5th of October.
We'll have a little cardboard cutout for him.
Yeah, we are.
Would you prefer me text
Fall
you
break.
or call you?
I'll put it in my calendar, it'll send me a notification.
Call everyone. I don't care.
Yeah.
Good, thank you, Judge, for the reminder.
We will get this committee going on ARPA, and I'll put in those recommendations and considerations that have been discussed to this point, to throw it out to the committee for evaluation and adjustments one way or the other. But there are a lot of good opportunities here to help several different distinctive areas of the county in different ways. And, so, I'm looking forward to that, and I have, three volunteers, let's see, 4 volunteers for that, and, we'll make a decision on that, and I'll let you know. I don't have anything else, today. I appreciate good dialogue, good discussion about a lot of issues. We're moving forward, and that's what we're supposed to do. I would like to entertain a motion